Welcome in again, Browns fans. Spencer German, Anthony Moeglin, recapping a thrilling Browns 20-17 win against the Chicago Bears here in Week 15, and it was a game that the Browns kind of stole. Anthony, they really had no business winning this game for pretty much all three through the first three quarters of the game, and then pulled it out in the fourth. Offense outscores the Bears 13-0 in that quarter, and they go on to win the game. And that's in large part because of the subject we want to talk about here, which is the defense. It kind of been the story of the season. They keep it close. Offense has been sort of hot and cold all year long, but when they need to get the job done, they do, and it's because that defense keeps it within a couple possessions. They're able to rally and score the 13 points today to get the win. We'll get to some specific topics here coming up in relation to the defense that was also banged up mightily today, especially in the secondary. But what are some of your overall thoughts and impressions just based on how that group played today?
Yeah, I think that honestly, this was one of their best performances, in my opinion, of the season. And there's a couple reasons why. The first is that for the first time all year, the injury bug got to the defensive side. For the most part, the offense has been experiencing the season-ending injuries and all of the long-term ones. Well, this week you lose Mo Hurst, you lose Obo Okoronkwo, you lose Grant Delpit, you lose Juan Thornhill again, you lose Anthony Walker in practice this week. These guys in defense were dropping like flies, and it almost got to the point where you're running out of dudes. And I don't think the Bears offense is that great, but what they do have is this big play capability. And what the Browns did today just kind of stifled it all. Gave up 148 yards passing and only 88 yards on the ground. This Bears offense is third in the league, averaging 138 yards a game rushing. And this Browns defense, while banged up, kind of kept them in check, and really kind of shut them all the way down. And then the other reason why I think it's so important is turnovers are so detrimental to the team for many reasons, but one of them is just psychologically, it just kills your defense. When you are constantly giving the team the ball on their side of the 50 or in the red zone, those guys at some point are holy cow, offense, we are carrying this team, and it weighs on you. But the fact that these guys fought off 3 more offensive turnovers and just shut the door totally on the Bears offense was a special performance.
They've done that all season long. I wrote a piece this week over at BrownsDigest.com, shameless plug, that was all about just the turnovers and how points off of turnovers have really killed the Browns this year. Coming into today, there was 97 points scored off of Browns turnovers this season. The Bears scored 14 more. They took one back for 6, and then they took another one to the 1-yard line that led to 6. So they have now scored 111 points. If you look at the Browns' point total allowed this season, 111 of those points came either directly off of a turnover or after the team, after they took a turnover into the red zone or on the Browns side of the field and scored a touchdown or kicked a field goal off of it. That's an insane number, and it really puts in perspective the job this defense really has done when you kind of look back at the whole season and realize the amount of scores they actually have limited when it's not kind of gifted to the other team is kind of crazy.
It's like a touchdown a game. Honestly, you're there. It's basically you're starting down 7-0, and there's nothing the defense can do about it. And it is just totally amazing that this group, while they're banged up, they keep just staying with it. And one of the things that I love today, and it's not a huge deal, but something that I just kind of caught my attention just because we follow this team every week, is they were trailing 17-7, midway through the third quarter or something. And Greg Newsome, he's always the guy who's always the hype guy on defense. Someone makes a play, he's always dancing. Well, he made 2 really good plays, and they're still trailing, but he's doing his dances and he's trying to get everyone's energy up because, hey, the outsiders looking in, they're hey, this is weird. Why are you celebrating? But that's what this team does. And when they just rallied together, stuck together all game long, you could see it. And they started making plays. And then when the offense tied it up, it was these dudes flipped the switch, and they were hunting. And it was awesome. This defense is special, and I hope our fans, I know we don't, but I hope our fans aren't taking this for granted, because this group of guys is incredible to watch, and they're playing so well together.
Well, and as we know, Jim Schwartz basically requires that you celebrate the big plays. So that's part of the reason why you see that. And it is kind of funny, I'm sure, for outsiders who are dude, you're down 17-7. You're going to lose this game. Why are you celebrating in the fourth quarter? But it's just what they do, and it's part of their mentality. It's part of their persona. You can't really knock it because it's worked to this point in the season. I want to get to a couple standout plays in this game that allowed the defense to be so smothering and throughout the entire game. But one of the big things that stands out, of course, is they only gave up 3 points in the second half. if you factor in what I mentioned about the points off of turnovers, this defense really only gave up 3 points the entire day, which is pretty crazy in of itself. They almost pitched a shutout. But especially as we talk about the injuries creeping onto the defensive side of the ball, you had 2 fill-in safeties today. One, Thornhill was out. We know Grant Delpit went to the IR. Chance he comes back for the playoffs, but he's done for at least the regular season. And you had Ronnie Hickman, who's a rookie, undrafted, and you had D'Anthony Bell, who's in his second season, both here with Cleveland, kind of a practice squad guy who's gotten some opportunity here with the team. And I thought like Hickman almost made me forget about Grant Delpit in a way because he played very much like him. He was flying up making some plays. And Ronnie Hickman, I thought, had some moments as well. It is remarkable just how this defense, you insert the next guy, and somehow, some way, it's just like a flawless transition, even though they're down another key player.
It's amazing. That's 2 straight weeks. We'll get the grades later on during the week when everyone starts evaluating the tape. But Ronnie Hickman, 2 straight great performances when this team needed him most. And it goes back to that point exactly goes back to how well this team is coached. And Jim Schwartz's group specifically, it doesn't matter who's in. It's so rare when you can plug and play. Like Grant Delpit is playing at a Pro Bowl, All-Pro slash All-Pro level. Like that's what he's doing. And D'Anthony Bell came in. He's been a special teams ace all year. Came in and like you said, made you not forget about Grant Delpit. You had a great tweet during the game, but like not forget about him, but like play to that level. Because guess what? I hate using this, but that's the standard. Like the standard is the standard for this defense. And they're holding themselves to it. And this group's awesome to watch.
Yeah, that's one of the most remarkable things about this team in general is just how flawlessly the next man. I'm kind of sick of hearing the phrase "next man up" because they say it so much. But this team has lived it every single day, and it truly is like the next person fills in, and they just kind of pick up where they left off. I want to get to Cameron Mitchell deserves some shine. We'll get to the defensive line as well before we get out of here. But Cameron Mitchell deserves some shine because he made what very well might have been the play of the game. First play of the fourth quarter. It was 4th and 1. Bears were going for it. They were on the Browns side of the field, and it was a designed Fields kind of keeper run. He boots to his right, takes off, and there was nobody there. And Cameron Mitchell trips him up just enough that he falls short of the first down and gets the ball back to the Browns. And the Browns go down and kick a field goal the very next series to make that then a 1-score game. And the rest of the scoring spree kind of spirals from there or snowballs from there. It was a great play. And again, another instance of a guy who's kind of had to step up and fill in some spots, making a big play on this defense and for this team.
And guess what? Just like you said, another guy who's having to step up. That's a 5th-round draft pick. A guy who wouldn't be playing if the team was healthy. Like if Rodney McLeod was still healthy and the back end of our secondary was still healthy, I promise you that's not Cam Mitchell. But with where this team's at, he needs to step up and make the play. And by the string of Justin Fields' shoe, he got him down. And guess what happened the very next play? We get a false start, which we will talk about later. But false start, back it up, 58 yards to Marquise Goodwin down the field.
Yeah.
We kick a field goal, and we're
Marquise
back.
Goodwin, where's Marquise Goodwin been? I mean, I know where he's been. He obviously had the concussion, but it's like, man, they got him out there, and he hits on a big play. That was awesome. I know this is about the defense, but that was a huge play.
A sight for sore eyes. And that goes to the complementary football that this team plays. They turn it over. Offense comes right out, wastes no time in scoring position, down to 1-score game. Just an amazing play by Cam Mitchell. Honestly, one of the plays of the game.
You talk about sort of one group feeding off the other. That's one of those moments that feels like that. Like the defense, they keep you in games. They get you extra possessions. They make some plays for you to try to give you momentum, and they're just hoping that eventually it clicks. And after that play, it certainly did for the Browns. I want to talk about the defensive line before we get out of here. Myles Garrett didn't have a sack today. I did ask him point blank. Well, I started to ask the question. He shot it down quickly because I was going to say, I don't want to get you in trouble, but what did you think of the – and he was like, just ask Roger Goodell. I'm not saying anything about it. So he wants to avoid having to pay another $25,000, which I don't blame him. But I thought this was a game where he actually almost had a sack on the touchdown that Fields threw in the first half there after the Flacco interception, where he had him dead to rights, and Myles kind of said like he had a guy hanging on his back, so he thought maybe that one could have been a flag. But he missed him. Fields, being as elusive as he is, boots out, throws the touchdown pass, but he doesn't get a sack today. But I did think his performance back-to-back weeks now, where he draws a lot of attention and he creates opportunities for people like Dalvin Tomlinson, creates opportunities for people like Shelby Harris, creates opportunities for Zadarius Smith. and some of these other guys were able to kind of step up and make some plays.
They were relentless today. It felt like they were playing at a different speed where it was like, hey, we're backed up. We don't have all of our guys, but they came out right away and just said, we're going to try and dominate this game. And it was from the top guys, it was Za'Darius and Miles. It was Dalvin Tomlinson. It was Jordan Elliott. It was Siaki Ika, who his now first game. It was Alex Wright, who made a huge play on third down late in the game to force a punt. It was all these guys, and it was, we're going to dominate this game by committee. It's not going to be on Miles. It's going to be on this entire group. We're going to finish. We're going to sack the quarterback, 4 sacks on the day. JOK got in there for one. So it was like, again, we're not going to be full strength, but guess what? The sum of our whole is greater than the parts. And, we're going to just try and dominate this game the best we can. So it was a great performance by that entire defensive line.
Yeah, it was a great performance from them. Great performance from the defense all around. Like I said, they gave up 3 points in the second half. Theoretically, they gave up 3 points for the entire game because 2 of them came directly off of turnovers. One set up the Bears to the 1 yard line, one leading directly to a touchdown. So just another standout performance for this group at home, mind you, which is where they've seemed to thrive. And the Browns have gotten one step closer because of that defense to clinching a playoff berth here in the coming weeks ahead. It'll be a game against Houston on Christmas Eve next week. We'll see if the defense can be equally as stout then. But until then, make sure to follow along with all of our content over at the Browns Digest YouTube page. And as always, of course, follow along with all things Cleveland Browns at brownsdigest.com.